It was a quiet summer evening in South London. Inside the house, a 12-year-old girl was getting ready for what should have been just another sleepover. She had spent the day shopping, laughing, and playing video games. She was with people she trusted. But sometime during the night, everything changed. She never made it home, and what happened behind those closed doors would shock a whole nation and break a family forever. If you like true crime and stories about investigations, smash that subscribe button. Now, let's go into today's case. Tia Christine Sharp was born on June 30th, 2000 in South London. Her parents were Stephen and Natalie. Her parents' relationship ended when she was a baby, but that never broke the strong family ties. Tia grew up in Croydon with a close group of family. She was especially close to her grandmother, Christine. The three of them, Tia, her mother Natalie, and Christine, were like a strong team. They were more than just family. They were friends. Tia often called her grandmother Mom. Christine liked that a lot. Natalie and Tia were always together. They had a special mother-daughter bond that comes from growing up close. Tia still saw her father sometimes, but those visits stopped as problems grew between her parents. Still, Tia did well in her own way. She was bold, brave, and full of confidence. Teachers liked her charm, but they worried about her missing school sometimes. Back in 2002, Christine worked at a pub in southwest London. That is where she met Stuart Hazel. He was 10 years younger than her. By 2007, Stuart moved into her home. The couple became part of Tia's life. Even though Natalie had a short romance with Hazel years before, things settled into something like normal life. Tia and her younger brothers called Stuart Granddad with love. But life in the house was not always easy. In 2008, social services got involved. There were worries about Natalie and her partner's drug use. Their check found no abuse or neglect, but they said the home was not stable. By late 2011, the case closed. They suggested schools watch Tia for any problems. Tia often stayed overnight at her grandmother's house. Even when Christine was not there, Tia slept in the same house as Stuart. Their bond was that close. In June 2012, Tia turned 12. She celebrated her birthday with Natalie and Christine. When asked to invite a friend, she chose Stuart. Weeks later, in early August, Tia called Christine. She asked if she could stay for a couple of days. Christine was away, but Stuart said yes, she was welcome. Tia was excited. She kissed her mother goodbye and left. She did not know it would be the last time they saw each other. CCTV cameras caught Tia arriving in New Addington on the afternoon of August 2nd. Stuart met her at the tram. Later, they were seen shopping. That evening, he told Christine all was fine. They were playing video games, he said. But by the next evening, Friday, August 3rd, something felt wrong. Christine came home from work. Stuart said Tia had gone to Croydon to buy shoes, but she never came back. By 6 p.m., worry turned to fear. Neither Christine nor Natalie could reach her. Messages got no answer. At 10 p.m., the family went to the police. Stuart said she left around midday. Even a neighbor seemed to back his story. Police searched the home but found nothing odd. Tia had vanished. As hours turned to days, the case hit national news big time. A bright 12-year-old girl, loved by all, suddenly missing. It caught the whole country's heart. Stuart, the man who raised her like a granddaughter, was even filmed helping in the search. Police noted Tia had not taken much money. She left her travel card and even her phone behind. None of it made sense. It was not like her. As hours became days, the search for Tia Sharp grew huge. It was bigger than most missing child cases. The Metropolitan Police worked hard. They moved officers from the London Olympic Games to help. More than 100 officers joined the search in Croydon. By the third day, over 80 people worked full-time on it. Half were detectives. The other half did ground searches and special tasks. They gathered over 800 hours of CCTV video from buses, trams, and shops. More than 120 hours were checked right away. The work went on day and night. Flyers with Tia's picture covered the streets. People in the community handed them out. They stopped strangers and called her name. Detectives stayed focused. The police message was clear. The main goal was to find Tia alive and safe. But behind the TV pleas, the family was falling apart from the worry. Tia's mother, Natalie, was broken and felt helpless. She gave a sad interview. "We all feel awful. We think she has been taken," she told a reporter. "But we just don't know. There was no CCTV. We know nothing. My baby girl walked out and vanished." A press meeting happened on August 7th. Detective Chief Inspector Nick Skelton spoke to reporters. He gave an updated look at Tia's clothes from the last CCTV picture. She wore a yellow vest top. At first, they thought it was a tube top with a light animal print on the front. Her jeans were light and faded. Her shoes were not the black Ugg boots first reported. They were black Nike trainers with a pink swoosh. Every small fix mattered. Every detail could bring a memory or a sighting. Tia's uncle, David Sharp, made an emotional plea. He held back tears. He said she was a normal 12-year-old, playful, happy, with no reason to run away. Over 50 people reported seeing her, but none could be checked as real. Each one gave hope. Each one ended in sadness. In the days after she went missing, people started to suspect more. The last person to see Tia alive was Stuart Hazel, her stepgrandfather. Police did not call him a suspect yet. The media's attention on Stuart Hazel grew rapidly. Hoping to defend himself, Hazel agreed to speak with ITV and sat down for an interview with former detective and journalist Mark Williams Thomas. During the interview, he appeared calm but firm, denying any part in Tia's disappearance. He claimed that she had left the house on her own and criticized the media and public for blaming him without evidence. As the cameras rolled, Christine came home. The tension was visible. Hazel quietly removed his microphone and stepped aside to comfort her. It was a small but emotional glimpse into a household under unbearable pressure. A home filled with sadness, confusion, and fear. Despite repeated searches, no progress came. Officers had already inspected the property 3 times, yet they returned once again, this time with specialist teams and trained dogs. Still, nothing was found. Then came Friday, August 10th. Hazel left early that morning. Later, Christine noticed a strange, unpleasant odor in the house that gradually became stronger. She couldn't find its source. When officers arrived again that afternoon, they immediately told her to leave. This search would change everything. Police went into the attic. There, they discovered human remains concealed within the space. The condition of the find made visual identification impossible. News of the discovery spread through New Addington and across the country, sending waves of shock and sorrow. That same day, a post-mortem examination began, but had to be paused due to the condition of the remains. After several days, investigators confirmed through dental records that it was 12-year-old Tia Sharp. Because of how much time had passed, determining the exact cause of death proved difficult. Experts later suggested it was likely the result of asphyxiation, though this could not be confirmed with certainty. With that confirmation, the case officially shifted from a missing person search to a murder investigation. The focus now turned to one man, Stuart Hazel, but by the time police looked for him, he was gone. Authorities launched a large-scale manhunt. CCTV soon captured Hazel at a small convenience store in South London, purchasing alcohol. Police warned the public not to approach him, describing him as potentially dangerous. It didn't take long. A tip from a local resident led officers to Cannon Hill Common in Merton, where Hazel was found and arrested at 8:25 p.m. Crowds gathered as he was taken away, anger and betrayal heavy in the air. Later that night, 2 more arrests followed. Christine was taken in for questioning on suspicion of involvement, and a neighbor was detained for possibly assisting an offender. While Christine was being questioned, Tia's mother, Natalie, watched the news in disbelief, seeing her daughter's body being taken from what had once been her grandmother's home. The circumstances meant Natalie was never able to see her daughter one final time. By the next morning, people from across the community began leaving flowers, photographs, and messages outside the house. It quickly became a place of quiet mourning. Friends, neighbors, and even strangers gathered to pay their respects. Christine was later released on bail under strict conditions, including a ban on contacting Natalie or her grandchildren. But the investigation was far from over. As detectives examined Hazel's past, troubling details surfaced. He had endured a difficult upbringing, his father in prison, his mother involved in risky work, and constant visits from social services. He spent much of his youth in care homes, struggling with learning difficulties and emotional control. As an adult, Hazel accumulated numerous convictions for theft, assault, and other offenses. Despite that record, Christine defended him publicly, calling him a damaged soul, but kind at heart. She said she knew about his drinking and temper, but never imagined the darkness growing inside him. When investigators examined his digital devices, they found disturbing evidence that revealed an unhealthy fixation on Tia. Experts later suggested that when Tia may have threatened to tell someone about his behavior, Hazel took her life to silence her. In the aftermath, the Metropolitan Police publicly apologized for the failures during their early searches and the delay in locating Tia. Across the country, people mourned the loss of a young life and questioned how such tragedy could have remained hidden in plain sight. The Metropolitan Police issued a formal apology to Tia's mother, Natalie Sharp, acknowledging serious mistakes in the early searches. Officials called it a human error that caused them to overlook key evidence during the first 3 visits to the house. As Christine was released on bail, attention returned to Stuart Hazel. His behavior in custody drew concern. At first, he gave investigators an unusual version of events. In his statement, he claimed that he and Tia had been playing when she fell down the stairs. He said he had been drinking heavily and later found her unresponsive. Overcome with fear, he admitted to hiding her in the attic to cover up what he called a tragic accident. Hazel described placing her within the roof space and covering the area with stored items. Nearby, officers found her clothing from that evening and her glasses sealed in plastic bags. Investigators later confirmed that Christine had no involvement in what happened. On December 7, 2012, police officially stated she would not face charges. However, further examination of the property brought new discoveries. Detectives retrieved 2 memory cards, one concealed inside a doorframe, containing highly inappropriate material. The final image recovered from the device was particularly disturbing and became a key part of the case. Expert review indicated it had been taken after Tia's death. Additional photos showed Hazel mimicking similar poses and secretly recording the child at home. In the early hours of August 12th, Stuart Hazel was formally charged with Tia's murder. The next day, he appeared via video link before Camberwell Green Magistrates Court, confirming his name and address, the same home where the tragedy occurred. No plea was entered at that stage. Hazel was transferred to Belmarsh Prison, held in protective custody while awaiting trial. During that time, he wrote a letter to his father, continuing to insist that Tia's death had been an accident and asking that he not be judged by the material found on his devices. Tia's cremation took place privately on September 14th. attended only by close family. As the investigation drew to a close, smaller parts of the case were resolved. On February 5, 2013, the neighbor previously arrested alongside Christine was charged with wasting police time after falsely claiming to have seen Tia alive. He denied the charge, but was later found guilty and sentenced to 5 months in prison. When Hazel's trial began, he pleaded not guilty. Throughout the hearings, he showed little reaction and avoided eye contact with Tia's relatives. The most difficult moment came when the jury was shown the key photographic evidence. Natalie, unable to bear it, left the courtroom in tears. By the 4th day, facing overwhelming proof, Stuart Hazel changed his plea to guilty. The courtroom fell silent. Tia's father described the pain of learning what had happened to his daughter as beyond words. Her uncle said no sentence could ever balance the harm done. During sentencing, the judge spoke directly to Hazel, emphasizing the depth of his betrayal. Tia's mother trusted you to care for her. You broke that trust in the worst possible way. Hazel received a life sentence, with a minimum term of 38 years before parole consideration. He would be 75 before eligibility. The judge stopped short of imposing a whole life order, citing insufficient legal evidence of motive, but described Hazel's actions as unforgivable. In the months that followed, Tia's family began rebuilding their lives. The house where she once celebrated birthdays and sleepovers was demolished in 2013. Her father later campaigned for stronger online safeguards to prevent the spread of harmful material involving minors. By November that year, major search engines like Google and Bing introduced stricter measures in response to cases such as Tia Sharp and April Jones. Tia Sharp is remembered not for the darkness that ended her life, but for the light she brought while she was here. Bright, funny, and full of courage. Though her time was short, her memory continues to inspire action and awareness. Her story stands as a lasting reminder of how fragile trust can be, and the importance of protecting those who cannot protect themselves. Thank you for watching this episode of Crime Stories with Annie. If you have information that could assist investigators in any unresolved case, remember, even the smallest detail can make a difference. Until next time, keep seeking the truth and help bring light to the shadows where justice waits.